Hello and greetings to you, our middle school students and staff. I'm Dr. Van Osdal, and I have the wonderful privilege to serve as your superintendent for Arcadia Unified School District. Welcome to our Middle School Wellness Day. I'm very excited and absolutely love this year's theme, Wellness Warriors. In my mind, I'm imagining all of you standing tall with your superhero cape on, with your muscles out, with the tool belt that you need, ready to take on the world and anything it can throw at you. And when I think of wellness, I know there's a physical part and there's a mental part. The physical is a lot easier for me, imagining the muscles and what we have to do to exercise and the routines we need to keep that going. But the mental part is sometimes a little more difficult. But for me, it's the same thing. Imagining that muscle in my mind that I have to use and continue to grow and add to it in order to really equip myself to be ready day in and day out for everything that's thrown at me. So I really hope that this day today gives you an opportunity to really add some tools to your superhero, your warrior tool belt on what it means to be a wellness warrior for you and the people around you. I have such appreciation for so many of the staff, the parents, community organizations that came together to make today possible. And it's for me, making this video only takes a few moments, but for so many of these people, there's so much work behind the scenes to make this happen. So I just want to say a quick thank you to some people. First of all, these are the folks that sponsored this event and either donated a monetary gift or some resources to make our day a success. I want to start with our friends at Arcadia Education Foundation. Thank you for recognizing how important mental wellness is. Our friends at the Foothill Credit Union, always supporting all of our events. Arcadia Host Lions Club, and of course the City of Arcadia Library, which so many of us are really aware of and everything that they provide all of us. Also, shout out to the people that are behind the scenes making today happen. First and foremost, our middle school counselors and psychologists. So much work, and that team from TK all the way to 12 that's coming together to work as a team. And I know I've personally worked with Ms. Perez on so much of this, so thank you everyone for that. Our middle school administrators and teachers that are implementing today, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and your day to make sure that our students have this access in this moment in the day and the year to focus on their mental wellness. Frank Nunez and our high school student editors, thank you for working on all of the behind the scenes, the videos. Our Board of Education, Dr. Hacking, and our Ed Services Department, and then all the staff that help with ordering of items, picking up items, putting all the swag bags together, delivering them. There are so many people to thank, and we will have a full list of credits at the end rolling in the presentation. I hope you take a look. So again, thank you for being present today. And I just ask that you take full advantage of this time that we have today to focus on you as you're training to become that wellness warrior, again, for yourself and for the people around you. Enjoy the day.
Hey guys, so last year we had a wellness summit, and this year's wellness summit is on February 3rd, so it's coming up. Last year we had a lot of things to do. We even had a journal to write about the things we did. And I think I really enjoyed it because there were a lot of people, different people who talked about different things like yoga, and even the counselors said some things about wellness. And we even were able to do, I think there was a karate teacher there who showed us some karate moves, and we did yoga too. And I really enjoyed it. And I think I'm looking forward to this year's Wellness Summit, and you should too.
Good morning, it's Mrs. Van Alsdal here, teacher at Rancho Lab School, and I'm so excited for the Wellness Summit. I loved last year's sessions. I especially loved hearing from the alumni to hear where they are and what they were doing. I really liked the tapping session because that was something that I had never done before, and that there are just so many techniques out there that you don't know and you aren't aware of, and I love being exposed to new ideas. The other one that I really liked last year was about the ants, the automatic negative thoughts. I didn't realize how often I have those. So I'm looking forward today to hearing and learning more strategies, because the more strategies I learn, the more different ways that I have to help myself. So yeah, let's do this.
I'm Caitlin and I'm in 7th grade. I enjoyed Wellness Day because there were many activities such as Kung Fu, gratitude journals, and breathing exercises. In fact, I still do some of these breathing exercises when I'm feeling very anxious or stressed. There was also an Arcadia High School alum who came to talk to us about her journey. She went to the same schools as me and got into my dream college. This really inspired me, hearing about her journey. Overall, Wellness Day was a great experience because I got to learn a lot about health and wellness, and I also got to have fun with my classmates and my teacher. I can't wait to see what's in store for this year's Wellness Day.
Hello Dana Mariners, my name is Shirley Yee, and I'm an 8th grader at Dana. Last year was a hectic year, so during online school we had a Wellness Day. During this day, we spent our entire day learning about how to take care of ourselves and our own mental health. It was beneficial to me, especially since we were all quarantined in our house with no one to socialize with. I learned many things during this day, which included learning how to make myself feel calmer during hectic times like this. And this area also created a meditation room, which helped me deal with stress. It helped deal with stress and made me feel more healthy choices for both my body and mind.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Sanchez, and I teach PE and health at Dana Middle School. I am overwhelmed with joy that our district not only acknowledges, but supports the importance of mental wellness in each of us, and that we are doing this Wellness Day once again this year. Some of my favorite parts from last year, I loved the breathing exercises to help reduce stress and anxiety. They seem to be really coming in handy these days. I also really enjoyed the grateful activities to remind me of the goodness that I have not only in my life, but in this whole entire world. And of course, I love yoga. Duh, I'm a PE teacher. These are some really, really crazy times that we are all experiencing. So now, more than ever, it is so important that we not only take care of ourselves, but we take care of one another. I really hope you enjoy this day, and I hope there's something that you get out of this day. Please take care of you.
This year's theme is Wellness Warriors. There is a warrior in all of us. Our logo truly represents that. You'll see that the mountains there are at different heights, and the people on the mountains are at different places. That's because we're all on our own personal journey to wellness and in life. Some of us are near the top of the mountain, and some of us are at the bottom or in the middle. So we want you to focus on where are you at right now, and hopefully through this day, you can work your way up through the mountain, one step at a time. Whether you're an expert at wellness or you're learning for the first time, we hope that you'll join us on this journey together and that you take something for you today.
We encourage you to check out today's website for the second annual Middle School Wellness Summit, where you'll find resources for both parents and students, including the availability to rewatch today's summit. You'll also find our digital journal. Please take a look that you can also complete your feedback form at the end of today's summit, where you can be entered to win a prize in our drawing, where one student from each school site will be able to earn a wonderful gift. At the top, you'll also find various resources, including community sponsors that have supported today's summit, and contact information for each of the school sites within Arcadia Unified, including Rancho Learning Center, Dana Middle School, Foothills Middle School, First Avenue Middle School, and district staff that support all of our middle schools and students. We thank you again for being a participant in today's Wellness Summit.
We're really excited about our swag bags this year. Pencil pouches so that you can use all year long, but inside you'll see we have a Pop-It just as a stress reliever. I don't know if you guys used these before, but they are super awesome.
In addition, everyone's going to be getting earbuds because we all love listening to music or watching videos online.
We also have some pop sockets to add to your technology, right? So we know those are pop.
Each student is going to be getting one of these motivational bracelets, and these bracelets are unique in that there's several of them, so looking forward to finding out which one you'll be getting today. We also have some pens and some notepads in here in case you want to take notes throughout the day.
And our journal. We're going to work through this throughout the entire summit. So keep that close by and we'll tell you when to bring it out when we're going to work in it.
You'll also find a flyer inside your swag bag. This flyer is for a wonderful teen event called Mind Out Loud. It's free online and we hope you'll be able to access it. There's lots of wonderful people that'll be participating in this and we know you'll find it helpful in your wellness journey. And teachers, we didn't forget about you. We have wonderful swag bags for you as well for all your support in today's summit. Inside your swag bag, you'll find some different items, including one of our summit journals. We also have lanyards for you, some highlighters, and some snacks. So enjoy your day and thank you for your support.
Hello everyone, welcome to the annual Wellness Summit. I'm Sandra and here's my good friend Amish.
We are here from Arcadia High School's video production and journalism program, Apache News. Thank you for having us. Today we'll have a bunch of segments ranging from tips by your teachers about mental health care to quirky dance challenges and relaxing yoga breaks. Just talking about it all is making me excited.
Absolutely. Also, let's not forget that at the end of the summit, you will have a chance to be entered into a drawing to win a cool prize. If you're interested, all you need to do is complete a survey linked at the QR code at the end.
That's it from us for now. Let's pass it off to Mind Out Loud, who are student reps from across the U.S. who work towards raising mental health awareness.
I'm here today to personally invite each and every single one of you to join us at the second annual Minds Out Loud online student event, Saturday, March 12th. We'll be joining middle school and high school students all across the country and even all across the world to discuss mental health boldly and authentically. Last year, we were joined by some really great guests, including Big Sean, Angie Thomas, the author of the book The Hate You Give, Max Stossel from The Social Dilemma, and so many others to have really great conversations around mental health and what that looks like for us as students. If you're interested in joining us this year, go ahead and scan this QR code right here. I believe you also received flyers, so you can also check out that flyer for some more information. You can also head to mindoutloud.org or follow us at MOL Students on Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter for more information. I hope you all have a wonderful Wellness Summit, and I hope to see you at Mind Out Loud Saturday, March 12th, 2022.
And I don't know, it's just really difficult if you're like part of a marginalized group, and eventually you just start to become used to that sense of isolation. And so personally, like, I just had certain things that stood out from other people in my classes because I live like very close to the border, so the majority of the people out here are minorities and typically Hispanic, and I grew up in dual immersion, speaking like English and Spanish, like my classes were half and half. And I was the only student that didn't come from like a background of Spanish speakers. And so I really struggled, and there was just like several components that added to my identity that just like made me stand out from other people. So I got really used to being like isolated, and it didn't really affect me until we went into middle school and I was put in with completely new different types of groups of people. And so I just got really used to that isolation. And eventually I started to get more involved in activities, and I met new people that I really liked and really felt like I could be comfortable with them. And so I think that it's just really important for people to like find a group that they feel they can be close to. And even if it doesn't happen like in a year or a few years, then I think that it's really important that they just don't give up and keep looking for people that are like them.
And I think that sort of like identity crisis kind of hit really hard in the beginning of high school. But I think through quarantine and through just a lot of amazing mentorship from a lot of like fabulous role models around me, including Jillian, I've really just learned how to like be okay with the idea that like identity is sort of like a work in progress. That all like identity is something that is always like fluctuating, and something that I have like very much accepted with myself. And with that came like a lot more self-love and self-acceptance with everything from like my like sexual orientation to my like identity as like a first generation like Asian woman. All of that combined was like and all of that combined on top of like the process of like self-acceptance was really fulfilling, and something that I am still working on, obviously, but like I said, it's a work in progress.
Middle school is such an interesting and formative time. It can be really challenging to be sort of figuring out all these different aspects of your identity. And even I know for me personally, middle school, it could be challenging at times. And sometimes my mental health was not the strongest in middle school particularly. And I think that's because there's a lot going on. There's more academic pressure, and you're involved with all these new groups of people. And you're really trying to figure out who you are. But I think that you're going to be okay. And even after you get through middle school, high school is very cliche, but things do sometimes get easier. And you grow as a person and in your maturity. And something to always be mindful of is that there are so many resources out there for you. So if you are having a really hard time, and that is so valid, then I think that you all have some wonderful resources, particularly in your school district. So if you need to, I think that be open to taking advantage of those, and that is all there to support you.
That you just kind of have to be okay with all the change that's going around, and it's going to be a lot, but you will be okay in the end. And it's really important that you keep on fighting, because even if you went from being like a straight A student to like failing classes and stuff, it's gonna get better, and you just have to keep on fighting for the future you and the person that you want to be, and like the career that you want. And like
things will get better when you're like kind of stuck in like rock bottom or anything in like a really bad space, which I find like a lot of middle schoolers often go through. I think it's really important sometimes to sort of acknowledge that the thought that like things will change, at the very least things will change, because what we feel now won't be permanent ever, and all of our feelings are never permanent, and none of our feelings are things that we will like forever be stuck with. And I don't know, I think I, as like a middle schooler, found a lot of comfort in the thought that like it's like after being surrounded by so much uncertainty, there is certainty that things will change in the future, and things have the potential to get better, and that things won't be the way and won't be as crappy as they are right now. And kind of like being told that as a very it's like a middle schooler who was struggling very much at the time really brought into a good perspective and a good mindset that like things are forever changing, like what Ashley and Maya and Marilene are saying, and that they have the potential to be better. And even if it doesn't feel like things are getting better now, they have at least the capacity to change. And there are people around, like to anyone kind of like watching this, like there are people around you who love you and care about you, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes. And those people are there for you as resources if you need to open up and are ready to open up to them.
Alright everyone, it's journal time. Go ahead and take out the journals from your swag bags and turn to page 10. The student reps from Mind Out Loud shared with us some of the challenges that they faced as middle school students and how they got through it. They shared some encouraging words with us, and we want to go ahead and practice just that. We want to take this time to affirm ourselves of who we are. So on page 10, you're going to find a sample journal page where a student chose one word to describe who they are. This student chose the word vibrant. So we want you to take this time to think about one word that you can use to affirm yourself and encourage who you are. On the side, you are going to write what this word means to you. Or you can even draw a picture or doodle. This student chose a picture of a fully charged battery. On the bottom, you're going to write or draw evidence that shows that this is who you are. So what about this student makes the student vibrant? This student participates in class, talks to pretty much anyone, and makes the most of every situation. So take this time to reflect on who you are, and in between on the yellow spaces, fill those spaces with words that are similar or are synonyms of the word you chose. So on page 11, there is a template that you are going to use. Go ahead and take this time right now to think of one word that affirms you of who you are, and choose a word that is encouraging that you could always look back and look on.
back. Huge thanks to Mind Out Loud for that informational video. What do we have next, Sandra?
We actually have a lot in store for everyone today. We'll be seeing how teachers practice self-care, alumni tips for high school, check out a helpful app, and even learn the science of how the brain works.
Let's get started.
I love playing the harp and singing in the choir, harmonizing with my friends and building community, singing about truth. It's good for my soul and good for my mind. I love it.
Hi, I'm Mr. Dima from Dana Middle School. I practice self-care by usually relaxing with a nice beverage. For now, that beverage will have to be coffee. When you're in high school, I'll tell you more.
You want to try?
Wait, what is that?
Here, put some in your hand.
What is that?
That's just, it was a blister. Here, put some in your hand.
Wait, I need more food.
Here. Okay, who's the bravest one?
Hi everyone, Miss Ari here, and the way that I sharpened the saw over the Veterans Day long weekend was by hanging out with friends. So as you can see here, I attended a Clipper game, which we won. Yay, go Clippers! And I got to see Hamilton.
We've always thought of great athletes as the strongest, the fittest, chiseled to perfection. But what's a strong body without a sound mind? We're so focused on strength that we forget to strengthen our focus. The mind is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. And while the greats mastered the body, the greatest mastered the mind.
Have you ever wondered what happens inside your brain and your body when you experience strong emotions? What causes your emotions? Why do you feel the way you do? Let's go inside your brain to see what is happening when you feel strong emotions. What you see here, moving up and down the pathways of the brain, are called sensory input. You know, what you see, hear, touch, smell, or taste. Some sensory input triggers emotions in your brain. Some very strong emotions. Let's see what that looks like. Let's say you're at school and someone told you that your friend said that he did all the work on your science project, that you didn't do any of it. You know it's not true, so it immediately triggers an emotion. And where does this anger go? It heads for the amygdala. This is your amygdala. It's an area in the primitive, automatic part of your brain. The part that runs things that you don't do consciously, like breathing or making your heart beat. Think of the amygdala as your feelings alarm. Whenever your brain gets input that is emotional, it sends it here. Your feelings alarm is automatic, and it's always set to go off instantly. When it does, it sends out urgent messages to get your brain and body ready to respond. Stress hormones are released, sending adrenaline rushing through your body. Your heart beats faster to pump more blood to your muscles and brain. Your lungs take in air faster to supply your body with oxygen. Sometimes your body's reaction is so strong that your stomach or your head hurts, or you feel shaky. You might even feel like you're losing control. At this point, you're probably not thinking very clearly. That's not surprising. The amygdala can't think at all. That's not its job. Luckily, it also sends a message to the thinking part of your brain. Hey cortex, wake up. You've got an emotion to deal with. Wake up! This is your cortex. It's the thinking part of your brain. It's the gray matter, all folded in nooks and crannies that covers the outside of your brain. It's where you decide what to do with your emotions. The first thing the thinking part of your brain does is try to figure out the situation. What is this emotion? What's really happening? What should I do about it? Now, the thinking part of your brain doesn't work as fast as the automatic part. It takes time for emotional information to get here, and even longer to process it. Sometimes the thinking part of your brain gets overwhelmed. Your emotions take over, and you end up doing or saying something you regret. This is especially true during adolescence, when your amygdala is more active, and your emotions can sometimes feel stronger than they used to in the past. So before you do something you'll be sorry about later, you need to notice your strong emotions and use the thinking part of your brain to help you manage them. You take some slow breaths. You ask yourself if you really know what the situation is. Did your friend really say that? Do you need more information? And now that you're calming down, the thinking part of your brain sends a message back down to turn off your feelings alarm. But with all that adrenaline pumping through your body right now, it's going to take a while for the feeling of anger to completely go away. You just have to keep telling yourself everything's under control. That way, by the time you see your friend next, you are calm and ready to talk to him about the situation.
For over 100 years, scientists have studied where intelligence comes from. Are some people just born smarter than everybody else? Or can each of us build up our intelligence over time? What skills can we learn? And what skills are just genetic? What makes someone smart anyway? Over time, we've discovered that our brains are much more flexible than we ever imagined. They're kind of like muscles. The more we exercise them, the stronger and faster they get. No one is born knowing how to read or build a supercomputer. But with practice, anyone can learn these things. Here's how it works. Our brains are made up of billions and billions of tiny cells called neurons. Each neuron has branches that reach out. When you learn something new or practice a skill, the neurons in specific parts of your brain grow. When the branches of two neurons get close enough, they form a neural pathway. Energy zings along these pathways, sending signals to different parts of the brain. Soon, a protective coating begins to form around the neural pathways. This coating, called myelin, helps the energy move even more quickly. Everything you do, feel, or think strengthens your neural pathways and makes it easier for you to do, feel, and think those things again. Let's say you want to organize a campaign at your school that inspires people to take action on a topic you care about. It may be difficult at first, but the more you experiment with strategies to help you stay organized and bring people together, the more those parts of your brain will grow and strengthen. Soon, you might notice that running your campaign isn't as hard as it used to be. You really can train your brain. That's great news, no matter what goal you're working on. But this process doesn't always work the way we want it to. If you learn and practice doing something the wrong way, it becomes easier to do it the wrong way again. That can make bad habits pretty hard to break. Luckily, you can also retrain your brain. With effort and attention, you can decide which neural pathways you'd like to strengthen and which pathways you'd like to fade away. As you tackle bad habits and work through your emotions, even as you make mistakes and keep trying, your brain lets old, unused connections go and forms new connections to help you reach your goals. And while myelination happens throughout your whole life, it really picks up in middle school. The frontal lobe of your brain, the part that helps you plan ahead, make decisions, and think logically, is myelinating at a faster rate now than it ever has before. Which means that, scientifically, now is a great time to decide how you want to build your brain. And the good news is that even after middle school, there's no expiration date on your potential. You can, and do, build connections and learn new things throughout your whole life. Your brain power isn't decided by your genes, your family, or what other people think or say about you. It's up to you. Whether you want to achieve a big, long-term goal or just form some good daily habits, you can start building your brain to do those things anytime you want. So, what will you train your brain to do?
Think to yourself, what are some things you can do to grow your brain? Try new and challenging things. Ask questions. Make mistakes and try again. Let's try and challenge our brain. Just in case you forgot, rock is a closed fist, paper is a flat hand with your palm to the ground, scissors are 2 fingers extended. Rock beats scissors, paper beats rock, scissors beats paper. Now you've got it. Here's how to play. Use both hands at the same time. Your left hand must always beat your right hand. No repeats. Each hand sign must be different from the last. Go ahead, get started. Think to yourself, what did you notice about your ability to win against yourself as you continue to practice and play?
Hello, I'm Fenton Eng. I'm here to introduce you to Tai Chi. It's actually called Tai Chi Chuan. Tai Chi Chuan, the word Chuan being fist, and Tai Chi Chuan is known as an ancient Chinese martial art. It's a form that also helps you build awareness of your body. So I'd like to begin with some basics. First, posture is part of that awareness. Keep your body straight, your feet are slightly separated at the heels, back is straight, shoulders are not slouched, and that's how we can begin, by being aware of how well we're standing upright. Secondly, Let's work on our breathing. We're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth. The tongue touches the roof of the mouth slightly as you breathe in through your nose. Open slightly to breathe out through your mouth. Again, in, out. These breaths should be deep, down into the diaphragm, full exchange of air. Breathe in, breathe out. Very good. Let's coordinate this with our movements. Breathe in. Bend your knees slightly, step to the left, and breathe out. Very relaxed motion. Try it again. Step to the left at shoulder width. Breathe in. Step, breathe out. Once again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in as you raise your arms. Hands in slightly towards the shoulders. Breathe out as you bend your knees slightly. Let's try that again from the beginning. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Once again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Shift your weight to the right. Lift up your left heel. Have both palms facing each other as if you're holding a large ball. Take a step. Breathe out. Notice how my left palm is up. My right palm is down. My left knee is bent. And my right leg is straight. This movement is called parting the wild horses mating. Let's try it again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Step. Breathe out. Once again. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Pivot your left foot. Turn. Step. Hands, arms facing each other. Step. Out. Notice how it's the mirror image of the previous movement. Parting the wild horse's mane. Let's try that again. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Pivot. In. Step. Out. Let's try that again. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Breathe again. Breathe in. And breathe out. So repeat your first movement. try to sequence the whole piece. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Very good. One more time. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. And out. So that's an introduction to Tai Chi Chuan. Hopefully you can join me some other time. We can go a little further. Continue to watch this video and learn as you repeat it. And work on the timing of your breathing. Hope you enjoy this. Till next time.
Hey guys, it's Dominic and I am currently a senior at Arcadia High School. I actually grew up in Arcadia, so I went to Hugo Reed Primary and Elementary School. And for middle school, I went to Foothills. Throughout all of my years of schooling, I definitely like to look back and see how much I've grown. So hopefully this advice will help you guys during your next 4 years of high school.
Hi, my name is Alicia. I'm currently a senior at Arcadia High School, and I went to both Hugo Reed and Camino Grove for elementary school, and then Dana Middle School, and finally Arcadia High School. So looking back, the best piece of advice I can give you guys is that high school isn't all about academics. Enjoy your time here because it's probably the 4 most important years of your teenage life that you're never going to get back, so you want to make the most out of it. Go to football games, homecoming, prom, join clubs that you actually want to join and not just because it looks good on a college application. Classes are definitely going to be hard and you're going to be stressed out. But what helped me the most was finding a way out of the schoolwork. And for me, that was going to the gym for a few hours, clearing my mind. And I think that's definitely going to help you guys. So I hope that some of this information helped you guys, and good luck to everyone in the future.
Hey guys, I'm Alan. I'm currently a senior here at Arcadia High School, and I just want to give you guys my biggest takeaways and lessons that I've learned throughout my 4 years here. First off, most of my school career has been through the Arcadia Unified School District, elementary school being Holly Avenue, middle school being Dana Middle School, and now here I am at Arcadia High School. One of the biggest advices that I would give you is honestly to do not procrastinate. And I think that's one of the most typical things to hear and say, but it's honestly so true. I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is that when I chose to do my lessons or do my work ahead of time before the due date, it's allowed me to not stress as much, and it's allowed me to just not worry about, oh, did I do it last minute, and then just do like a pretty bad job on that assignment. And looking back, I think I definitely tell myself to take electives that I was definitely interested in or classes that I was interested in, because I definitely have fell into the pressure of just wanting to take a class because all my friends were taking it. Or I have definitely felt into the pressure where like, oh, since everyone else is taking that certain class, I should take it too. But in all honesty, it doesn't really matter what class you take as long as you're enjoying it and as long as you're happy in it. And those are my biggest advices and takeaways that I've learned through Arcadia High.
Hi, my name is Claire, and I'm currently a senior at Arcadia High School, and I just wanted to share some pieces of advice that I've gathered from my last 4 years there. So my first piece of advice is to not be afraid to ask for help. I know it may be tempting to try and go at things alone, or you might be intimidated by your teachers, but don't be afraid to ask them for help. They really want you to succeed, and they're more than willing to help you, so go ask them for help if you need it. And remember, high school is a place for learning, not just how to do the most complicated math problem or about facts about history, but it's also a place for you to grow as a person. So don't be afraid to try new things or meet some new people, because who knows, that person that you met could become your best friend. Or you could find a new passion by joining a new club. And don't be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are how we learn and get better, so don't shy away from them. They'll be your best friend. And don't forget, high school is only 4 years. You only get 4 years to make the most of it. So don't waste it. Because at the end of the day, when high school is over, all that remains are the memories you've made.
Hello there, my name is Gracie Mena and I am a senior at Arcadia High School. There is no shortage of life lessons I can pass on to anybody coming into high school, but I have a few that I want to share. I'll keep it short, I'll keep it sweet. For Arcadia High, I had not been in Arcadia Unified School before, so that was a huge learning curve for me, just kind of learning how public school worked. So hopefully that's not something that everybody has to endure when they enter 9th grade. Some advice that I would give myself in middle school is not everything you worry about is going to happen. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to have things you don't enjoy, but you might be freaking out about something now, and then by the time you're a senior, you're going to be like, I can't believe I ever freaked out about that. That was the least of my worries. Something that I've learned in my high school years that I really, really appreciate is that taking care of yourself is important. And I know we don't always think about that. You know, we want to be the best, we want to have good grades, we want to do X, Y, and Z. But in the end, what matters is that you're healthy and that you have had a good experience. You know, you can't risk your happiness and your health for like an A on one test. And I feel like that's advice that a lot of people wish they had or that they needed to hear, and that was very important advice to me.
Everyone experiences moments of stress and sadness. However, these feelings can sometimes become overwhelming.
Many students might turn to their friends for help. People share information with those they care about for many different reasons, including to share common experiences, to ask for help, or sometimes they may not know what to do and they just need somebody to listen.
What if your friend says something that causes you to be concerned about their safety? What can you do?
Talking about suicide can be challenging, and it might be hard to know when and how to get help. Your friend might not tell you outright that they're having suicidal thoughts. Instead, they might say other things to drop hints, or you might notice a change in their behavior. Today, we're going to share some warning signs to look out for and ways to help your friends in need.
You may become concerned after a conversation with your friend. You may have noticed that their behavior and their actions have changed. Or you might read a social media post that has you worried. If you notice any of these signs, that would indicate a time to reach out to an adult for help. If your friends are talking about suicide or death, if they're looking online for ways or items to harm themselves, if they're talking about feeling hopeless or having no reason to live, or if they're visiting or calling people to say goodbye and giving away possessions.
As a friend, you may be in the best position to recognize when a friend needs help. Getting them connected to a supportive and responsible adult is important.
Talk to your parents or any trusted adult. At school, you can reach out to any of your teachers, the school counselor or psychologist, the nurse, or site administrators. Don't wait.
You'll find many resources on today's Summit website. If you or a friend feels overwhelmed with emotions like sadness, depression, or anxiety, or like you want to harm yourself or others, one of these national crisis resources can help too.
that was a lot to unpack.
Agreed. Oh, Sandra, are you in the mood for some relaxation?
Yeah, I can actually use them right now.
Well, good, because coming up, we'll have a nice sound bath and yoga session to purify thy mind and thy soul.
Wow, yoga? How exciting, Amish. Let's get right into it.
Hello and welcome to this session where we'll be doing a guided meditation and sound bath. I'll be leading you through, step by step, a couple different meditation strategies that you can use to help you cope with stress and anxiety. We'll be doing visualization and circular breathing. Then I'll be playing a variety of therapeutic instruments that can be used to help you gain a deeper sense of relaxation. So to begin, go ahead and find a comfortable seated position. If you're sitting on the floor, you can sit cross-legged, or if you're in a chair, go ahead and find an upright but relaxed position. You can rest your hands either on your thighs or knees, or at your side, whatever feels most comfortable to you. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and close your eyes. We're going to begin with a few deep breaths. And begin to soften and relax the body. Relax the eyebrows. Soften the jaw. Release any tension in your shoulders and shoulder blades. Relax the lower back. And release any tension you're still holding on to in your hands or your thumbs. We're going to begin an exercise called circular breathing. To do this, we'll breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. As you inhale, imagine you're sending rich oxygen to your entire body. And as you exhale, releasing any tension in your body that you're still holding on to. Let's do 3 more of these circular breaths. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Last one, in through the nose and out through the mouth. You can continue this deep breathing, but as you're doing so, I invite you to visualize in your mind a peaceful place, somewhere where you feel completely at ease and relaxed. Where are you? What surrounds you in this tranquil environment? What colors do you see? What sounds or smells are there in this peaceful place? As you're in this place, any stress just melts away from your body, and you feel completely calm, centered, and relaxed. I invite you to keep your eyes closed as I now begin our sound bath. Once I finish playing the sound bath, I'll be playing 3 different kinds of instruments, and I'll pause for a brief moment of silence before I lead you out of the meditation. Just relax and let the sounds wash over you. begin to deepen your breath. And without opening your eyes, begin to bring your awareness back to your environment. Remembering where you are, what surrounds you in the room, maybe what the temperature of the room is, or what sounds you hear in the room around you. And when you're ready, you can softly blink your eyes a few times before you open them. Go ahead and rotate your head in a clockwise direction. And go ahead and switch directions. You can turn your head from side to side. And maybe take a brief stretch overhead. And remember, you can come back to using these meditation strategies that we practiced together today whenever you're feeling stressed or anxious. You can always just close your eyes and go back to your peaceful place. And the circular breathing exercise that we practiced together today is very calming on the nervous system. So you can do these breaths maybe before a test or at the end of a stressful day to help you fall asleep, or even at the beginning of a day to just start the day feeling very calm and centered. And if you enjoyed the sound bath today, I encourage you to search on whatever app you use to listen to music for things like sound bath, or the specific instruments that I played today are crystal singing bowls, an ocean wave drum, and koshi chimes. So you can always find these sounds to listen to help you relax in your own home. So thank you for being present with me today through this guided meditation and sound bath. I'm wishing you peace and calmness throughout the rest of your day. Namaste.
Welcome everybody, Miss Ari here, the counselor at Dana Middle School, and I'm going to take you through a short chair yoga session for students. I have two helpers with me today. We have Abigail Shanoon, 7th grade student at Dana Middle School, as well as Isabella Griego, 8th grade student at Rancho Learning Center. Thanks for your help, ladies. We're going to begin by settling into our space. So let's just take a second, settle into our chairs, maybe relax your palms on your thighs. Feet are going to be on the floor. And we're going to start with some easy inhales and exhales. So take a big inhale through your nose, filling all the way up to the top of your lungs. And then go ahead and exhale through your nose all the way out. Make sure that your belly gets nice and full. One more time. Let's go ahead and breathe all the way in, filling up your lungs, making your belly nice and full, pausing at the top, and then through your nose, exhaling out. Excellent. So let's start moving around with some shoulder shrugs. So we're going to take a big inhale and go ahead and shrug your shoulders all the way up to your ears on an inhale, and then exhale, roll your shoulders down your back. Let's do that one more time. So inhaling, shoulders up to the ears, exhale, shoulders down your back. And then one more time, inhale up and exhale back. And then let's reverse that. So go ahead and take an inhale, shrug your shoulders up to the front, and now roll your shoulders forward a few times. One more time, inhaling up and exhaling down, and inhaling up and exhaling down. Awesome. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to start loosening up the neck a little bit. We hold a lot of tension in our neck. So go ahead and drop your chin to your chest. And then you can either take your head around in some easy circles all the way to the side, to the back, to the other side, back to the front, Or if you'd rather just drop one ear to your shoulder and then maybe bring your chin back to your neck and then over to the other side, just kind of loosening things up a little bit in our neck. Excellent. And then return back to sun. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do what's called a heart opening exercise. So it really gets your chest involved. So we're going to bring our arms up overhead, take an inhale. Now exhale, you're going to bring your elbows out and your hands up. And you're really going to arch your back. So you're bringing your chest through your biceps. You're cactusing your arms here. Excellent. Keep breathing. Then take an inhale. Arms come back overhead. Exhale, arms come down, cactus arms. And let's do that one more time. So inhaling, arms come up overhead. Try to keep your shoulders down your back. And then exhale, elbows come out. Wonderful. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get our side body involved, have a little stretch here. So let's start with our right hand. So everybody raise your right palm. Which one's your right? There you go. And you're going to reach your arm up overhead. So take a big inhale. And then exhale, you're going to side bend to the opposite side. Really try to reach those fingertips over to the other side of the room and see if you can keep both of your sit bones evenly on the chair there. So you're not lifting your hips up out of the chair. So you're sitting evenly. Keep breathing here. Inhale and exhale and release. And then let's do the other side. So left arm comes up overhead, reach it way up, shoulders are relaxed down your back still, and then reach your fingertips over to the other side of the room. Inhaling and exhaling. And then you can release that as well. Nice job. Shaking it out. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do some seated twists. Twists are really good for digestion as well as for detoxifying the organs. And it also just feels good to get your spine involved. So let's bring our arms up overhead on an inhale. Now you're going to twist your torso over to the left slightly. Leave your hips on the chair. Your right arm is going to come down to your left knee. And then your left arm is going to come behind you and you're going to find the back of the chair. So sit up nice and tall. Try to reach the crown of your head up towards the ceiling if you can, but don't crank your neck. And then maybe try to take a gaze over that left shoulder if you can. So keep breathing while you're here. Easy inhales, easy exhales. And release, come back to center, and then let's do the other side. So arms come up overhead again on an inhale. Body shifts over to the opposite side. Left hand is going to come down onto your right knee. Right arm is going to come back behind you and find the back of the chair. Sit up nice and tall. Both of your sit bones are grounded into the chair. Crown of the head is reaching toward the top of the room, and you're breathing this whole time. And again, you don't want to crank your neck. You don't want to take your neck into an unnatural place. We want this to feel good. So inhale all the way up and exhale all the way out and return to center. Nice job. So we're going to do a pose that also involves the spine. It's called cat-cow. Some of you may already be familiar with this pose. So let's sit up nice and tall, take a big inhale, and with your palms on your thighs, you're going to gaze up and then try to arch your lower back. So you're pulling your shoulders back and gazing up. That's your inhale. And then exhale, you're going to reverse that. So you're going to bring your ribs and your belly in. You're going to round your shoulders forward and then gaze down at your hands. Let's do that again. So inhaling, and we're going to gaze up for our cow pose. And then exhale, and then round your shoulders, gaze down at your palms. One more time, inhaling for cow, look up. Lower back is arched, and then exhale, Round your shoulders down, take a look at your hands, and then come on back to center. Nice job. Okay, so this next pose that we're going to do is called seated pigeon pose. So you're going to start by taking one of your legs, it doesn't matter which one, and you're going to raise your leg up and then place your ankle over the knee of the foot that's on the floor. It doesn't matter which one. And you want to make sure that you're not crossing your legs, but it's more the ankle on the top of your knee. Sit up nice and straight. And then it doesn't matter where your arms go. And you're going to take an inhale, and with a straight spine in any amount, bend forward just a little bit. You're going to get a nice little stretch in your outer thigh of your bent leg. Feels so good, especially if you've been sitting all day long. And just breathe here. Easy inhales, easy exhales. And then come on back up to center, release your legs, and then we'll do the other side. So ankle on top of opposite knee. Nice straight spine. Take a big inhale for length, exhale, fold over in any amount. You don't have to go really far here to feel the benefits of this pose. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready, you can release that as well. Okay, we are ready for our last pose of the day. So we are going to just kind of put a nice little cap on our practice. So we're going to take a big inhale. Arms are going to circle up overhead. Bring your palms together at the top, and then exhale. Hands come to heart center. Let's do that one more time. So inhale, arms come up overhead. Nice big circle. Palms meet up at the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then you can release your palms down to your thighs. I want to thank you, ladies, for your help today. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure all of the students appreciate it as well. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Dana Martinez, and I went to Hugo Reed, Foothills Middle School, and obviously Arcadia High School. And a lesson that I learned in high school is that you should live in the moment and appreciate things, because you don't know what's going to happen. And if you live every day like it's the best day and you do everything that you want to do in the moment to make you happy, you'll thank yourself a lot for that. So yeah, good luck in high school.
Hi there. If you're watching this, it probably means that you're going to be an Arcadia High School student pretty soon, which is really exciting. I've been a AUSD student since kindergarten. I was a Hawk at Highland Oaks, and I was also a Highlander at Foothills, but my advice is pretty universal. I think anyone can use it, in district or out, Foothills Middle School or not, and that is to talk to people that you don't know. Your circle is only so large coming from middle school into high school, and if you try to stay within that circle and only talk to people that you've known for years, you're really closing yourself off from making connections with all of the other middle schoolers who are coming into high school. You're going to be put in classes where you're sitting next to someone you don't know. You're going to have teachers that you've never met before. You're going to have full classes where maybe you don't even know anybody. So turn those unfamiliar faces to familiar ones. Join clubs, apply for leadership, do whatever it takes to get you to, get yourself out there. Get involved in something. There are so many pockets at Arcadia High School of people, different groups, and you can call any of them home. And in fact, you can call multiple of them. And when you do, it's really nice to have a group of people that you can rely on. And the chances of you, ending up in a class where you don't know anybody, those chances grow pretty small when you actively seek out new friendships. So yeah, that's my advice. Good luck, and I hope you enjoy high school.
Hi, my name is Taylor, and I'm currently a senior at Arcadia High School. I spent 14 years in southern China before I came to Arcadia Unified School District. So looking back to my high school life, the best advice I can share out is get involved. Get involved into school events, club activities, volunteer opportunities, student organization, sport team, and performing arts, whatever that interests you. So high school life can be really stressful, so make sure you reach out to your teacher, your friends, and even your counselor when you having tons of pressure or having confusion. So if I can ever relive my high school life, I would definitely get more involved into school activities because I feel like I didn't get enough, didn't have enough involvement. So high school life might not be perfect, but make sure you make your high school life as meaningful as possible. Hope you all have a great summer and have a great time at high school. Thank you.
Hi, middle schoolers. Advice I have for you for high school would be to make sure to get involved in any clubs or sports or activities at the school. Because the campus is so large, it's always a good idea to get to know people who share the same interests and likes with you. I hope this advice helped, and good luck in high school.
Hi, middle schoolers. My name is Jaden, and I'm a senior at Arcadia High School. My best advice to middle schoolers is to enjoy yourselves while you're there. High school will be different and more stressful atmosphere, so be sure to live it up in middle school. My biggest lesson that I learned during high school was to do things that I'm passionate about. I think you should be sure that you're putting your time into things that you like because time is very precious in high school.
Hi guys, my name is Rachel Lee and I am a senior at Arcadia High School. Within the past 4 years, I have gained so many valuable lessons and I wanted to share them with you. One of the most important lessons that I've learned is to be involved in school. As someone who came from outside of the Arcadia district, it was a bit daunting to make new friends, but joining clubs and organizations definitely helped me meet a lot of cool people. Also, through these activities, you make a lot of fun memories and learn what you like and dislike. Another lesson that I learned is to have an agenda, or something where you can write down what you need to do for the day. With 6 different classes and extracurriculars, it's best to write everything down so you don't forget anything and you can plan your week accordingly. If I were to do high school all over again, something I would do differently is to be more confident. There were a lot of times when I prevented myself from doing something because I was scared, and it's something that I regret now. So in high school, do all the things you want to do and don't let fear hold you back. That's it from me, and I wish you guys the best of luck in all your future endeavors.
Wellness is important to me because I feel when I'm focused on wellness, my own, it allows me to be the best for not only myself, but in what I do for others. And wellness means to me sort of a balance and making sure that I'm aware of what I need in order to perform and help others around me, as well as do the best I can for myself.
Wellness has always been important to me. Wellness to me is not just mental wellness, it's also physical.
Wellness is important to me because I want to have an active, fun life as I age. I want to hopefully someday be a grandparent and be able to run around with my grandkids.
I look at mental wellness a lot like physical fitness, 2 sides of the same coin. If you want to be consistently well, you have to work at it, you have to practice.
It really affects everything in your life, and definitely with your physical and your mental. I find that when I focus on wellness, I am a more positive person.
Well, I take care of myself by trying to do things in moderation. In terms of what I eat, what I drink, I always try to get enough sleep because I know I don't function well without good sleep.
We work out a lot. We go through a lot of routines in terms of going through movements, incorporating your breathing. We also go through movements that are constantly refined through repetition.
So I take care of myself a few ways. First, I work out, and the only way I know to get myself to really work out consistently is I work out with a personal trainer twice a week. And I can't get out of it because it's all virtual. So I do it even during the COVID surges.
I really try to take care of myself just with the basics, getting enough sleep, eating right, getting exercise. I feel like those 3 things kind of reinforce each other.
It doesn't have to be a big thing to incorporate wellness in your life. It could be small little things, and you really just have to give yourself grace sometimes.
Some of the things that I do to sharpen my saw and I think refresh and renew me are, I really like to blast music super loud in my house and dance like a crazy person when no one is watching for real. I also really like to cook and try new recipes. I find that really calming, and then you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor and share that with your family and friends.
Well, as I mentioned, sharpening your saw is taking care of yourself. My profession is in teaching martial arts, so I'm essentially modeling everything I do to my students on a daily basis. I currently teach 17 lessons a week, and that's going to challenge me, not just from a workout standpoint, but I'm trying to convey information and knowledge to students. And that's really part of the learning experience for myself, going beyond just practicing martial arts.
A bunch of things. I love to garden. I also love puzzles. So I'll play Sudoku or tic-tac logic or something along that line almost every day.
I like to go outdoors a lot. In Japan, there is this concept called forest bathing. I'm really just spending time in green space and just being with nature.
So when I really feel like I need a mental, physical break from my life, I try really hard to put down all my electronics, my phone, my computer, not look at it for at least a few hours. And what I enjoy the most is exploring and doing some new things, something fun and exciting.
After all of that, I'm starting to feel really, really relaxed, Sandra.
Uh-oh, that's not good. Maybe I know a way to wake you up.
No Cupid, no Cupid.
Are you ready, kids? Get up and let's start dancing.
Time for a change. News down, do your dance, do your We got a brand new dance. Down, do your dance, do your dance. Down, do your dance, down, do your dance, do your dance. They say I'm a rapper, and I say no. They say what you doing, trying to do somebody cold. I just let the music come from my soul, so all of my people can stay on the floor. They got a brand new dance. You gotta move your muscle. A brand new dance. It's called a Cupid Shuffle. It don't matter if you're young or you're old. Here we go. We gon' show you how it goes. To the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Now kick, now kick, now kick, now kick. Now walk it by yourself. Now walk it by yourself. Come on, baby, kick. Now walk it by yourself. Walk it by yourself. To the right, to the right, to the right, the right, the right. The left, to the left, to the left, the left, the left. Now kick, now kick, now kick, now kick. Now walk it by yourself. Walk it by yourself and do the Cupid Shuffle. Now let me see you do the Cupid Shuffle. Now let me see you do the. It's your boy Cupid, C-U-P-D-I-D. Mr. Fat on the track, got another hit indeed. Do your dance, do your dance, come on, come on. Do your dance, do your dance. Let me see you. Do your dance, do your dance, do your dance. Do your dance, do your dance. We got a brand new dance.
Welcome back, everyone. It seems like the seminar is going very, very well so far, right, Sandra?
Yeah, the dance was so much fun. I wish I could do it again.
What's coming up will teach us how to learn from our mistakes and not turn them into something that puts us down.
Ooh, that's for sure something I want to learn about. So I'll be taking some notes.
Hey everybody, it's Mr. Long, and the way I sharpen the saw is gardening. I love being outside every day if possible. These are some pictures of my garden and different parts of it, also my kids.
Hi there, this is Ms. Guzman from First Avenue Middle School. How do I recharge? I go on hikes, I go biking on the beach, I write in my journal, I love to listen to music, and I love dancing. And of course, I always have my sisters that I could talk to.
Choosing to do that this beautiful Veterans Day weekend is to spend time with family and friends and doing something we all love, riding in the backyard. So, ready kids? Here we go!
Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Today. One way that I like to practice self-care is by cooking and baking with my kids. Our favorite thing to make is chocolate chip cookies.
My family sharpens the saw by horsing around. My family sharpens the saw by horsing around.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Reck from First Avenue, and to sharpen the saw, I exercise daily, take my giant dog Wrigley for walks, and I travel whenever possible.
Hi everyone, my name is Shivani and I'm so excited to be here today to chat a little bit about failure, building resilience, and trying to navigate through some really challenging times. And before we get started today, I just wanted to share a little bit more about my background and my history. So yes, I'm a trained mindfulness instructor and guide. However, I myself have experienced very high levels of anxiety and depression throughout my career as I was growing up, as well as I became older. So I can definitely relate to the challenges of being a student in school, really struggling with some tasks like taking big exams, making friends in a new school, navigating the change of going to high school, as well as from high school transitioning to college. So I just wanted to say that I can definitely relate to a lot of what you might be experiencing right now in your current environment. And I'm just happy to be here to share some tools with you that might be able to help you. So I'd like to start today with sharing this quote that really shares what failure is, before we kind of dive into talking about how to deal with failure and building resilience. So the quote reads, "Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success." And the reason why I really love this quote is because failure teaches us so many different things. And it's so important to look at failure as a learning experience rather than a moment in time in which you're really hard on yourself. So we all experience failure at some point in our lives. If you think back to people that you look up to, whether they are athletes, whether they are your mentors, whether they're your parents, your teachers, your classmates. At some point in their lives, they have experienced a moment of setback or a moment in time in which they felt like they failed. So it's inevitable that we're going to face these situations in our lives, but it's how we navigate these setbacks that really make a difference. So let's chat a little bit about some of the tools that you can use to help navigate a moment where you feel like you may have failed. And there's so many other tips out there. And today, just in the interest of time, we're just going to barely scratch the surface. But I want to encourage you to continue to have these conversations with people that you trust, with your, school counselors, with your parents, with other maybe students who you can relate to and speak to about how to navigate through challenging times and setbacks. So first off, don't self-blame, right? We all tend to take that first step of being like, I can't believe that this happened. Why did you let this happen? We speak to ourselves in a very negative way. And what I encourage you to remember is that the way you speak to yourself is so important. You need to be able to speak to yourself with kindness, and remember to speak to yourself like you would your best friend, right? You wouldn't ever put down your best friend when they're going through something challenging, or if they share something that was really difficult for them, but rather you would help coach them through something. You would make them feel comfortable. You would encourage them to look at the situation in a more positive light. So I encourage you to look at a setback that you experience by starting with yourself. Talk to yourself with kindness. Talk to yourself with respect. Talk to yourself like you would your best friend. Because as you start to build negative habits of putting yourself down, your mind starts to go to that first. And it becomes the very first thing that you do. And it's not a healthy thing to try to unlearn. The next thing is, don't question your abilities or skills after a setback. Just because you experienced a setback, it doesn't mean that it mitigates or limits the amount of ability or skill that you might have. It's just a moment in time in which it didn't go the way that you would have expected, but that you can learn from that. And don't point to outside factors that contributed to the mistake. So when we start to point outwards and blame, right? Like, oh, this happened because someone, was distracting or someone's phone was ringing. An example that I can give you is if you are giving a presentation and someone, looks like they're not really paying attention. If you feel like that presentation didn't really go well, but you're blaming the audience, that is not a healthy way to think about a setback. So really kind of come back into a place of viewing the situation in a more positive light, even though it may not have gone the way you would have liked. So you want to come from a place of a growth mindset rather than having a fixed mindset on the situation. And the idea of a growth mindset allows you to see failure as an opportunity to learn. Instead of putting yourself down when you experience a setback, ask yourself these 3 questions. And I'll go through these 3 questions, and you're welcome to write them down. Keep them with you in your phone, have access to them, because these things can really help you kind of navigate some really challenging times. So ask yourself, after you've experienced a time or a moment, the first thing that you want to do before you start asking yourself these questions is just take a deep breath. Take a step back and give yourself 3 very deep breaths where you're inhaling in through your nose and you're exhaling out through your mouth, to allow your body to kind of calm down and your mind to get out of fight or flight mode and go into a mode where you can actually think more clearly. And the first question you want to ask yourself is, what's the worst that can happen? And oftentimes the worst that can happen is not really that bad. The second question is, can you deal with that outcome with the answer to the first question? So whatever your answer is to what the worst is that can happen, can you deal with that? Most of the time, the answer is yes, there are ways to deal with it. And what resources do you have to handle it? Maybe can you get some additional coaching? Depending on what the situation really is, What can you do to navigate through that? And then the last question is, what are some possible benefits of your failure, even if the situation doesn't work out? So maybe it's in the event of giving a presentation where you feel like you totally didn't do a great job. Maybe you can start taking some additional speech classes. Maybe you get some more mentoring, and maybe you take more opportunities out there to put yourself in a situation where you're doing more speaking engagements for public speaking. I just use that example because it's easy to relate to, but it's a great way to kind of connect back to how you can feel and how you can navigate through a setback. And I encourage you to really think about failure, like I said, as we started this whole presentation, is thinking about failure as a part of your success and recognizing that failure is something that you will definitely experience at some point in your life. But it's so important to think of it as a learning experience rather than completely an earth-shattering experience. So really what it's about is the way you think about the situation. Tell yourself that it's okay. Don't let this scare you. And shift your focus to the positive aspects of failure. Like, what did you learn from this experience? And what would you do differently next time? Be really mindful about how you navigate through these situations. And if it helps, write things down. Writing things down can definitely help your mind and your brain train yourself to think in a more positive way when things like this happen. So learning to respond to your feelings rather than reacting will allow you to really kind of navigate through failure in a more abundant way. And it will also allow you to really learn. And you can learn to build resilience. Resilience is built over time. So the earlier you start, the more tools you have in your tool belt to become more resilient. I hope that you found these tips very helpful. And if there's anything that you guys ever need from me or ever want to talk about something particular or specific that you might be experiencing, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'm always available for students, for parents, for instructors. We can talk through things. I can give you some more tips, but just know that I was once in your shoes and I have felt failure hit me really hard. And I know what it was like when I put myself down, and I would never want that for anybody else. I wish you all the best for this next year, and I look forward to seeing you again.
Hello, my name is Nathaniel Acker, and today I'm going to be demonstrating the Oreo challenge. As many of you have probably seen it if you've been at Dana for a while, the goal is to put the Oreo on your forehead and to get it down into your mouth. So I'm going to try to do that, and I'll probably fail, but hey, I'm going to retry and keep on going until I get it.
Okay.
Oh boy.
So when I first started, it was frustrating and I wanted to quit because it kept sliding off my forehead. I have a big forehead. But then I kind of got inspired thinking that I could do this, and As I got closer, especially when I got to the I part here, I was closer to victory, and I just kind of dug in. And when I finally got it in my mouth, I think it was a good accomplishment because I've done this in the past and never succeeded, and now I finally did it. I'm an Oreo cookie winner.
When I didn't get it, I felt like I was going to get it any second. I just needed to keep trying. I took a breath. I told myself, I'm getting it this time. I'm getting it this time. And when I didn't, I was like, okay, I got closer, and then finally I got it. And when I actually did get it, I was like, oh my God, I can do this. This is amazing. And there you have it.
So I was able to eat the Oreo, and I was successful, and I'm very happy.
Hi guys, my name is Maryam Sadegifard, and I'm currently a senior here at Arcadia High. I just want to give you guys a few pieces of advice from what I've learned in the past 4 years. So I actually came from out of district, so Arcadia High was the first school I attended in the Arcadia Unified School District, and I learned a lot of good lessons while being here. One of the major ones is that it's always good to reach out to teachers, friends, and other classmates when you're having difficulties in class, or even if you're just like looking for someone to talk to, because teachers really want to form a bond and connection with you, and they're really friendly and like nice to talk to. And I'm sure your friends are having the same issues or problems that you're having in class too, so it's always good to work with each other to figure them out. Also, another good lesson I learned is that grades aren't everything. It's really important to have a good high school experience and to kind of like form connections and bonds with those close to you. Looking back, if I could redo high school, I would definitely want to get more involved, whether it's through the clubs on campus or through the organizations. I hope you guys have a good time in high school, and I'll see you then. Bye!
Hi there, my name is Elena Chan. I'm a current senior at Arcadia High School. I attended Highland Oaks Elementary School and Foothills Middle School. So one of the first questions is, what is the lesson you've learned during your high school years that you appreciate now? And I think the biggest thing that I learned is time management. When you're in high school, you have a lot of things to balance. You have academics, extracurriculars, home life, school life, and just a lot of things that you have to balance on your plate. So one of the most important things is to be able to manage your time well. Make sure you get a lot of sleep. It's really important to do well in anything that you're doing to get a lot of sleep, but just be able to manage your time well and organize, plan out your schedule, and make sure that you're on top of things, and do not procrastinate. When you're in high school, there's a lot of things to do and you don't have time to procrastinate. So just make sure you're planning out your time well. And then what helped me on the days I felt really stressed or overwhelmed, first things first is I did bullet journal a lot. I think it's really great to get your ideas out of the way, even if you don't feel like you're really artistic or you don't think that you have like creative spark. Everyone does. And so what's nice is to just be able to write out your thoughts, whether it's like in a diary or a journal format, or to kind of just plan out your day or your schedule and kind of doodle. Other than that, I also I think naps are really important too, to kind of recharge yourself. Eating well, or treating yourself, or drinking a lot of water. A lot of times I just listen to really, really calming music, but I do think that one of the biggest things that helped me was journaling, and bullet journaling specifically. So if you are interested in getting into that, I would highly suggest that. But just in general, organizing your day and really taking a step back and breathing, because when you're feeling really stressed and overwhelmed, it's usually a mental block. A lot of the things you do in high school or even in middle school right now, it can be done and it's very manageable, but sometimes you have a mental block that kind of prevents you from getting it done. So the best thing to do is kind of take a step back, plan your day, think about how much time it takes to do a certain assignment, maybe take intervals of breaks or just times to focus on yourself and not just what you need to do for school or stuff like that, and spend time with your family. And you'll realize that in the end you can get it done as long as you, 1, don't procrastinate, and 2, kind of portion out your time well.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm a senior at Arcadia High School, and the only school that I've been in the Arcadia district is Arcadia because I transferred here when I was a freshman. And if I could give my middle school self some advice, I would say don't be afraid to be yourself. I know it's oversaid and cliche, and it's a lot easier said than done, but in high school, a lot of people are easily caught up in how other people perceive them, and it can affect them really negatively. So it's super important that you just be yourself and don't change yourself for anyone else. Of course, you're going to change in high school, but make sure that how you change and why you change is good, and make sure that it puts you one step closer to what you want to achieve by the end of your high school career.
Hello everyone, my name is Zachary Green and I'm a senior at Arcadia High School. I'm also extremely proud to announce that I'm both an alumni of Highland Oaks Elementary School and Foothills Middle School. So if I had to do high school all over again, as a freshman, I wish I had known that popularity should be really taken with a grain of salt. It's much more important to have a strong support system of a couple of close friends than being friends with everyone. I'm definitely not saying that you should limit your circle, just know that there are much more important things than followers on Instagram or friends on Snapchat.
Well, that was fun.
I know, right? Makes me really want to try out this cookie challenge too.
Okay, maybe later, Amish. But right now, let's move on to the last session of this Wellness Summit. Mind telling us what we're going into?
Well, Sandra, we'll be covering ants, self-control, see how all your teachers unwind, and hear a few final words from psychologists and counselors. And don't forget about the drawing prize at the end of the session.
That all sounds super cool. Alright, that wraps up our part. Now for the final videos.
It's already over. Well, it was great going through this wellness journey together.
Yeah, I learned so much and will definitely be using some of these tips.
Hi everybody, this is Miss Martin from First Ave.
And I'm Mrs. Grumbine from First Ave.
And today for our Wellness Summit, we're talking about stress and how stress has a huge impact in our well-being. There's lots of ways of managing stress. And one of them is by looking at our thoughts, because our thoughts determine our feelings.
So let's think of our thoughts as a train. Each thought is a train going somewhere. So think train of thought, right? So when a thought comes to your mind, you need to think to yourself, is this line of thinking taking me where I want to go? And if it's not, then that's when we need to look deeper into our thoughts and examine them. So let's learn a little bit more about that.
Decades of scientific research have confirmed what the ancient Greek philosophers and Shakespeare knew, and what many of you probably already know. The way we think determines the way we feel, and also how we interact with others. Negative and unhelpful thoughts can also have a powerful effect on our behavior, our relationships, and therefore the happiness of significant others in our lives. Let's name these unhelpful thoughts ants. These are automatic negative thoughts that enter our mind throughout the day. Thoughts are running through our mind constantly at all times through the day. And for some people, this thinking continues into the evening whilst trying to wind down from the busyness of the day. When these thoughts are bordering on negative all the time, we may experience negative consequences. Whether you are conscious of it or not, your mind is a powerhouse, directing your actions and your emotions. Thoughts can flip through your brain more quickly than you can even realize they are happening. For instance, if you have always feared exams, as soon as an exam is mentioned in class, negative thoughts pop up. You might think, oh no, I can't, this is terrible, awful, horrible, without consciously saying to yourself, oh, I just heard the word exam. I'm always fearful of exams, I'm going to be fearful now. It flits through your mind and your body reacts quickly to that thought. Although many of our thoughts are unconsciously occurring, they still drive our lives. Therefore, if we want to develop a more optimistic outlook, the first step is to identify what we are thinking. We call this skill thought catching. Thought catching can be more difficult than you believe. Most people can easily identify what they did or said, but they may have difficulty catching their thoughts. We sometimes get confused between thoughts, feelings, and actions, because the thought and feeling appear to happen simultaneously. In reality, the thought occurs first, and if we want to learn how to cope better with setbacks as a student, and life in general, we need to become efficient thought catchers. So what are some of the different types of ants that you may have? Some people use overgeneralization, whereby you base a thought on a single piece of evidence. You will hear yourself using words like always or never. You may have thought to yourself, these things always happen to me, or I'm never going to be able to do this. Some use personalization, where they always take responsibility for everything that goes wrong. They might say to themselves, I'm such a fool for thinking they would like me. Some people use catastrophizing, where they overestimate the chances of something bad happening. Have you ever heard yourself say, I didn't do well in this assignment, I'm going to fail the whole unit? Some people can even tell the future by using fortune-telling error thinking. They anticipate a negative outcome based on their past experience and think of it as fact. They think bad things like, I couldn't do maths at school, so I'll never be able to pass this accounting unit because it's all math. These are only a few of the different thinking errors that we do, but we don't need to accept these as fact or as something that we cannot change. Once you have uncovered an ant, you need to try and correct it. The first step towards eliminating, or at least minimizing, ants is to become more aware of them. Here are 2 activities that will help you catch those ants. Firstly, write down your ants, as this will also help increase your awareness. Find a small notebook or a journal and begin to note the ants that you hear yourself thinking. Each time you experience a stressful or difficult situation, or are feeling rather negative, try to write down whatever thoughts are going through your mind at the time. It is best to do this as soon as you identify the ant. The second strategy is to get an elastic band and put it on your wrist. You have to be on the lookout for ants, and when you hear an automatic negative thought, flick the elastic band on your wrist. Ouch! That might sting a little bit, but this will help you catch those thoughts. You might like to enlist the support of others, because some of you will also be so used to ants that they may crawl up on you without you even noticing. You could even get others involved in this. Give them a band each, and similarly, if you notice someone else with an ant, reach over and flick their elastic band. A team approach may be the best defense, especially in the beginning. To correct your ants, you need to replace them with optimistic thoughts. Let's call these pots, because we're going to be planting optimistic thoughts instead. POTS involves challenging what you are thinking by questioning yourself in the same way as a friend might when they disagree with you. It's not done by putting yourself down or calling yourself names, but by suggesting an opposing argument to yourself. We also call this disputing, which is arguing with yourself by conducting an internal dialogue. It can be likened to giving evidence in a court of law, with the brain being the judge, as it calls on the positive and negative thoughts to state their cases. You can do this by firstly asking questions to yourself. What's the evidence for and against my thought? Am I focusing on the negatives and ignoring other information? Am I jumping to conclusions without looking at all the facts? Are there any other possible explanations? Once you have done this, then you need to correct your thinking with a more optimistic thought. When using POTS, you are presenting a counter-argument to the previous thoughts, and then replacing that thought with a more optimistic thought instead. POTS require you to develop thoughts that are more realistic, are more helpful, focus more on the positives, focus on solutions more than problems, put negative events in perspective, see challenges as opportunities. Catching ants is not going to be easy, but you will get better with practice. Don't forget to reward yourself when you successfully catch an ant, because it is helping you to cope better with a difficult situation. Also, remember to have realistic expectations. No matter how good you get at catching and challenging ants, there will still be times when you experience negative moods. You are not going to be happy all of the time. Your aim is to reduce the frequency with which you experience distress and the intensity of distress you experience when something goes wrong.
Okay, so as a review, let's take a look at how do we catch our thoughts? Well, as it says here, feelings can help us identify our negative thoughts. A lot of times people think that feelings come first and then our thoughts, but actually they come really fast together, but our thoughts lead to our feelings. But we can work backwards, just like identifying, oh, we're feeling something. So what is my thought that's leading to this feeling? So for instance, I think of feelings like the little lights on the dash of your car that indicate if something's happening. So like say maybe your tire pressure is low, maybe you need to fill up your gas, maybe there's a check engine light that comes on the dash saying that there's something going on. That's what feelings are like. Feelings are just like indicators that there's something that we need to take a closer look at and examine. So to do so, we can catch them and we can write them down on paper, or we can do something physical like snap our fingers and oh gosh, or we can have a rubber band like we talked about, we snap that, or we can even just physically stop and think, okay, what's going on? How do we catch our thoughts and identify them? And then what do we do after that, Ms. Grumbine?
So once you're able to identify your negative thought, what you'll want to do next is replace it with something they were calling POTS, which are positive optimistic thoughts. And so first, how do we do that? So we have our negative thought and we need to now question that negative thought and ask ourselves, is it true? What's the evidence against that thought? Just like taking it to court. So what are the positives? What are the negatives? Also, what you'll want to do is maybe use the power of but. And what that means is you identify your negative thought, but what actually is happening, or but what is the bright side, or but who can help me, or what are my resources that I have that could help with this situation. And then also after we do, go through that process, what you would do is you replace that negative thought now with a new optimistic thought. So let's look at an example.
Yeah, so for an example, you might say, oh, I can't do that. I always fail. So then you would come back and say, but is that really true? Is that 100% true? Do I always fail? Well, I actually made that basket last week in PE, or maybe I got a good grade on my English test last week, or, maybe I was able to do this accomplishment that I was surprised at. I don't always fail. So you can kind of address that. But sometimes you do. And sometimes it is possible to fail. And so then what do you do about that? You can tell yourself, well, I can get advice. I can start practicing. I can take baby steps. When you see a baby start to walk, do they always just get up and walk right away? No, they're called toddlers for a reason, because they toddle, they fall down, they get back up, they keep trying. And so we can tell ourselves, I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to get advice. I'm going to try. And so let's take a look at this on page 7 in your journal. Take a look at that, get your pen out, and we're going to take some time right now and think about our thoughts and see how we can talk back to them and what can we do as far as planting optimistic thoughts. So take a look in your journal, page 7.
The goal isn't to get rid of all your negative thoughts. That's impossible. The goal is to change your response to them, to grow so strong on the inside that nothing on the outside can affect your inner wellness without your conscious permission. So negative thoughts aren't the only thing that can cause us anxiety and stress. Worrying about things that are outside of our control is also a concern for our mental health. So we're going to learn a little bit about the circle of control and what is within our control and what is outside that control. The one thing that we do know is that we can always control how we respond to what happens to us. A lot of times we do worry and overthink about things that are outside of our circle of control, and we can't change those things. So we're kind of wasting our time, our energy, and it's just causing us more and more stress. And this is why we need to try and stop worrying about those things that we can't control. Let's take a look at what is inside of our circle of control and what is outside of that. So inside of our circle of control, these are things that we can completely control. So for example, our attitudes about things, our choices that we make, our responses to certain situations, to all sorts of situations, our behaviors that we have, what we say to other people, how we treat other people. Those are just some examples those are things we absolutely can control. The things that might be outside of our control are things that we have no control over, obviously. And those would be such things as maybe the weather or what you're seeing on the news or our parents or other people's comments, whether you win a basketball game. Those are a couple, examples for you there. So when we're looking at the circle of control, we always just want to think, is this something that I have control over personally? Or is this something that someone else does? I don't have control over this. And that is where you then start to organize where things go, whether it's within your circle of control or outside of that. Let's do an activity together.
Okay, so for our activity, open up in your journal to page 8 and 9. We're going to just take a look at some things and start thinking about what's inside and what's outside of our circle of control. As we're looking at these, ask yourself, did I do something to cause this? Is this something that I can control or maybe make a difference in? So what's on our next slide here?
So here are some of the words that we're going to be, or the ideas and sentences that we're going to be putting into on page 9, and we'll go through these together. So the first one, my friends. Can you control my friends? Write that in the appropriate place. Is it inside your circle of control or outside your circle of control? So can you control what your friends do, what they say? The next one is the outcome of your efforts. So for example, you are an awesome soccer player. You've practiced, you've done everything you could. You've watched videos of professional soccer players. Are you going to win that game? Can you for sure say that you're going to win that next game that comes up? So the outcome of your efforts. Put that where you decide to put that.
And then what about my actions? Do I have control of my actions? What do you think? Gossip. Can we control if somebody else says something, or can we control if we participate in gossip or if we spread gossip? There may be a couple different ways of looking at that.
The next are words I use. So basically words you use. That's how we're looking at it. Can you control the words you use? Put that where it belongs. Then how I respond when I'm angry. Can you control how you respond when you're angry? Put that where it belongs.
And what about the past? Can we change the past? Is there any control we have over that? What about doing my homework or doing your homework? What do you think? Do you have control of that?
All right. Our next would be other people's opinions. Can you control other people's opinions? The next would be asking for help. Are you in control of asking for help?
We talked about friends earlier. Can we control our friends, or can we control the friends that we choose? What about the weather? Can we control the weather? Can we control how prepared we are for the weather? Those are things like that.
And Miss Martin is kind of giving you an idea of some of these things could be a little, when you really read into them, they might be a little tricky. You know, we always know, remember we talked about, we always know that we can control how we respond to things, regardless if it's in our control or not, right?
Have you heard people joke, I'm going to wash my car and it's going to rain if I wash my car? You know? Or I'm going to bring an umbrella so it won't rain.
Yeah.
We don't really have control over the rain, do we?
Yeah. All right. Then our next is how I treat others. Do you have control over how you treat others? What about your effort? Do you have control of how much effort you put into something?
Can we control how others feel? Can we control the future? I'm interested to see what you think and where you wrote down, which columns you wrote down. Maybe later you can talk to a friend about that.
So here are the answers that we've come up with on all those topics we just talked about. Compare yours with what you have written down there.
You may agree with some of them or you may not. And that's stuff that's good for conversation.
All right. So next time you feel anxious or stressed over a situation, remember to identify if it's inside or outside of your circle of control. And that's when we remember. So if it's within our circle of control, we need to take action. We need to do something about it, fix it, deal with it. If it's outside of that control, remember, you can't change it, but you can control your response in that situation, right? You can control that.
And in your history classes right now, you're studying about generations past. People have overcome and responded to situations way out of their control. Think about prisoners of war, people who were shipwrecked, people who have had incredible, seemingly insurmountable odds. And our libraries are full of biographies and that talk about how people overcame and dealt with situations that were out of their control. So take some time and talk to people who have overcome challenges. How do they deal with situations that are seemingly out of their control? How do they respond? Get some advice. There's loads of people out there, mentors, in people we know, in books, that can give you some good advice. Something to think about.
Hello, everyone. Mrs. Smith here. One thing I love to do on my time off is to paint my nails. Very relaxing, makes me feel good about myself.
On a morning walk. students. My name is Mrs. Mazio and I work at Rancho Learning Center. And one of the ways I like to practice self-care is by doing puzzles. And here are a couple of my recent favorites.
I'm Mr. Despard, and I love to sharpen my saw by mountain biking.
Be with my grandson Kai, the best way to sharpen my saw.
Hi there, Ms. Wynn here. We love to sharpen our saw by cheering on our favorite football player and going camping on long weekends.
Hi, Mrs. Zyma here from First Avenue. A few ways that I practice self-care is I try to get enough exercise. I hike a few times a week, I ride my bike to school a few times a week, and I go to yoga a few times a week.
A drawing? A drawing? Drawing?
It's a drawing!
Who wants to win?
what about us?
What about us? What about us?
Hello students and staff, we hope you've enjoyed the Arcadia Middle School Wellness Summit with our 2022 theme, Wellness Warriors.
Your teen years can be an exciting and challenging time. We know that academic, home life, and social demands can be stressful. However, you have an opportunity to improve your overall health every day. Making small changes is where you can start, and it's where you can make the biggest impact.
A warrior is a human being who accepts the call and walks the path of becoming one's full potential. Warriors believe in each other and strive to be the best versions of themselves.
There is a wellness warrior in all of us. Wellness is something we choose to pursue. It's a choice we make that requires consistent effort. It encompasses a positive outlook on our mind, body, and soul.
As we've learned today, exercising the brain with stimulating activities has proven health benefits. Expanding one's knowledge and pursuing new creative outlets can lead to improved cognitive health. When you learn, you build new pathways in the brain.
Remaining active and avoiding harmful habits can benefit the body inside and out. It can be achieved through a well-balanced diet, various forms of exercise, and practicing self-control.
Knowing how to recognize and embrace one's own thoughts and emotions takes practice, but you can do it. Warriors don't give up when things get hard. The warrior inside of you can enhance your happiness by focusing on what brings you a sense of joy and accomplishment.
Establishing and maintaining healthy relationships with family, friends, and peers is important for your overall wellness. Studies show that being around people you care about can boost your immune system, give you energy, and reduce stress.
On behalf of your school counselors, school psychologists, and the entire Arcadia Unified community, thank you for joining us for the 2022 Arcadia Middle School Wellness Summit.
You are on your way to achieving your health and wellness goals. There's a wellness warrior inside all of us.
Well, that was fun. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Said it like a weird one.
Well, that was fun.
That was really creepy.
Feelings can help us identify negative thoughts, even though it seems like we need to start over. Like I delete that.
Dude, oh my gosh, sorry, I messed up.
So let's.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done. You weren't done?
Oh, because this is my slide, but if you could change that slide real quick. Let's go
This
back.
isn't your slide. The next one's not your slide.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Oh.
That for sure is something I want to learn about.
Yeah, just go ahead because I can edit this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep it going. Maybe you can like get it to the point, like just put it where it's almost. Yes, and then we'll just make it seem like you.
A sound bath and a yoga session to go into to purify. Okay, we have to do that again. Sorry. Well, it was going great through this. It was okay. I messed that up.
Sorry. Mind telling us what we're getting? Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's wrap up our part. That wraps up our part. All right, that wraps up our part.
Gonna keep it going.
All right.
Wow, yoga? How exciting, Amish.
Let's
get
right
right into it.
Dude, why did you give my
You read my line.
It might be robotic, but we'll see.
That's okay.
Okay. How's it looking? Okay.
Wow, that was a lot to unpack. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Knowing how.
When a thought comes into your mind, you need to think of to yourself, is this, oh shoot, I messed up.
Okay, and I
But you
messed up.
forgot to say, yeah, you forgot to get the example.
Yeah, can you hold it like it?
Yeah, well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got one guy on TikTok. Yeah. That was embarrassing.
On to the last session of this summit. Well, that well, that was fun. Okay.
Wow, that was a lot to unpack. Goodbye and see you guys next time.